You're listening to Inklings of Insight.
Sometimes you see certain things play out a certain way and you just want to jump in and try and fix everything. And sometimes, being a leader, you can't do that. You can't just jump in and fix everything and everything will be okay. That's not how it works. You have to allow the person to do their thing and learn for themselves too. You could guide them, but allow them to make decisions, and that, to me, it helps. But at least for me, that's what I have learned in leadership. Don't force your opinion and try to, control the process. You have a group meeting and you discuss things and how you would like it to go. But everybody has their way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like paper was spoken about earlier on. I realized that the gentleman that was doing it, he was pretty good at what he was doing. When somebody else does it, half the time they don't do what he does. They don't get the same result. So, everybody have their own way of doing things, and we have to learn to appreciate it. Not always your way is the right way, and that's it.
Right. And what I love about what you're saying is I think it's a great segue into one of these points that he kind of lists out as building trust. And what you said was you can't, as a leader, you can't always jump in, right? And the first point that he highlights is connection through understanding, right? Yeah. And one of the key things that I feel like you kind of hit on was you got to let people do their own thing, right? You got to let people, in so many words, be themselves, right? And in this section where he's talking about connection through understanding, one of the key things he says is basically, I'm paraphrasing here, people don't trust us when we understand them. They trust us when they understand that we understand them. So the key there is, it's not just about figuring somebody out, right? Or understanding somebody. You have to also go a step further. And I know you've highlighted in the past, Brother Garcia, the importance of communication. You have to make sure you communicate clearly to people that you understand them. That you understand them. And he talked about the story where the CEO or the company was having a hard time making decisions. They didn't move quickly because they were always trying to build consensus, right? And they were always trying to build consensus, but they couldn't build consensus because nobody was ever honest. Right? They were all trying to walk on eggshells and trying to figure out how to get things done without really addressing elephants in the room, right? And we've talked about that in the past as well. But one of the key things was that the people all wanted feedback, but nobody was giving feedback because they were afraid of what the results would be if they gave feedback. So the revelation was that they had to be very open and honest about how they like to receive feedback. So getting back to that, letting people be themselves, there was a huge kind of breakthrough epiphany when they realized that everybody wants to get the feedback. It's just they just want to get it in a certain way, right? They just have certain needs in how that feedback comes to them. And so, like for example, one of the people, they needed to be reaffirmed. She needed to know that even though she was getting negative feedback, she wanted people to say, "Hey, I still like you, and you're not going to get fired," right? And when she told them that, they kind of laughed about it, right? But she was like, "I'm serious," right? And another guy, he was the complete opposite, where he was like, "Hey, I want you to just give it to me straight," because he didn't want to have to deal with the guesswork of trying to figure out, what do you really mean, right? What do you really mean? And the third person was really big on being understood, having the other person understand where they were coming from. Thank you for listening to Inklings of Insight.